My name is Sally Reinemer, and I live in the Denver area. And we're so excited that you are joining us tonight to learn more about aging with health and vitality. I've been a part of this healthy living community for many years, and it has been such a catalyst for incredible health. And as I'm aging, I so appreciate the inspiration, support, and invaluable education that I continue to get that really keeps me going strong and for many years to come. I'm so thankful to be a part of this community that is really inspiring healthy living for all ages around the world. You know, I think people are waking up to the fact that we need to take responsibility for our health and our family's health. Really, we look at it, nobody else is going to do it for us. But sometimes I know we get confused. There's conflicting information out there, or a lot of times we feel trapped by our family history. And we feel that we are just predestined to go down a certain trajectory in our health. Well, tonight, I'm pleased to share from Dr. Van Pelt inspiring and empowering information that can really help us. Dr. Van Pelt is a scientist turned lifestyle entrepreneur who has studied healthy aging for the past 24 years. She completed her doctoral and postdoctoral training in the integrated physiology of aging, and then led clinical trials at the University of Colorado School of Medicine for 17 years. Throughout that time, her laboratory was continuously funded by the National Institutes of Health to conduct research on aging physiology and women's health. Her research focused on the changes in metabolism and body composition that occur with advancing age, and I'm sure if there's any people at my age, you've started to also notice those kinds of things, and the impact of obesity, diabetes, and sex hormones. In 2017, Dr. Van Pelt left academia to build a business dedicated to preventing disease rather than just studying it and maximizing health span. Today, she is on a mission to educate and motivate busy professional women to radically reboot midlife health and long-term wealth. Welcome, Rachael.
Thank you so much, Sally. So welcome everybody to this Zoom on a Thursday evening, cold and snowy Colorado here. I wanted to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that's healthy aging. And first, I want to encourage you to think about, what does healthy aging mean to you? What kind of images does it conjure up for you? These are the kinds of images that come up when you Google healthy aging. It's the Hollywood glamorous version of aging. And I think for many people, aging is simply something that happens far off into the future, that it's, you know, at some unspecified age. But I would contend that aging is something that happens from the day that we're born. And healthy aging matters to us whether we're 5 or we're 95. Now, I started thinking about healthy aging in my 20s, back when these pictures were taken. That's me in the middle holding the trophy and the picture on the left. I was a varsity rower for the University of Washington in Seattle. And during the summers, I was also a firefighter for the U.S. Forest Service on a hot shot crew. That's me on the right holding the chainsaw. And although I was at my peak of fitness and strength, I was aging prematurely in my bones. I discovered at this time that I had the bone density of an 80-year-old. I was only in my 20s. Now, this was not because I had some rare genetic disorder, some predisposition to osteoporosis. I discovered later that this was because of my lack of good nutrition. Back then, we didn't know much about how to fuel our bodies for sports nutrition. Even though we had great nutritionists at the University of Washington, back then we thought it was all about carbo loading. And I lived on bagels and pasta little bit of Ben and Jerry's here and there, but my primary source of nutrition was simple carbohydrates. I did not get fruits and vegetables and things into my diet. Now, the good thing that came of this discovery of my accelerated aging was that it inspired me to go on to get my PhD in integrative physiology. And I knew this wasn't normal. I wanted to figure out how we could prevent this sort of thing from happening to other people. And as an integrative physiologist, all that means is that I was trained in how all of the physiologic systems of the human body integrate or work together. How the musculoskeletal system works with the circulatory system, how that integrates with the digestive system, the nervous system, and so on. And for the past 24 years, then I studied how things like exercise and nutrition, sleep, pregnancy, menopause, chronic disease, and of course, aging impact how these physiologic systems work. Now, as a geroscientist or a healthy aging scientist, we think about physiology and aging a little like this. For many things, our physiology peaks in early adulthood and it feels like nothing but declines thereafter. But we know that that is not inevitable, that most of the declines that we see are not inevitable consequences of aging, that they're in fact modifiable. And geroscientists obsess a lot about how we can maximize people's health span, how we can preserve quality of life, preserve our physical function, our mental function, right up until the end of life, irrespective of what lifespan is. So it's less about lifespan and longevity and more about what's your health span. Now, of course, we know that it's neither of these extremes. It's not a rapid decline, and we also aren't necessarily able to preserve everything right up to the very end. But it looks a little bit more like this, doesn't it? We know that, for example, if things peak in early adulthood, the first hit to our health often comes when we have kids, life stress gets in the way. There are things that keep us from exercising as well as we should, sleeping as much as we should, and so forth. Maybe at some point you figure out that ever elusive work-life balance, figure out how to exercise a little more, sleep a little better, and then something else happens. For women, that might be menopause, men, andropause, midlife career stresses, whatever that may be. We fall off the wagon and we're not taking care of ourselves as well as we should. Maybe the kids move out of the house and you find a little bit more time for yourself to exercise, eat better. But then the next thing hits. We have a hip replacement, knee replacement, something that sets us back, and we get further and further away from that baseline peak physiology. If we've got a good physical therapist after that surgery, maybe they can get us back up to baseline. Unfortunately, what we see is for a lot of people around this time, this is when we get diagnosed with some sort of a chronic disease. And then it's repeated bouts in and out of the hospital on multiple medications. And that's where that rapid decline in health comes, that inevitable decline in aging that we so dread. But if I've learned nothing in my 24 years of research, it's that we can take the last half of our life from looking like this to looking more like this. We know that 85 to 95% of chronic disease in the US is preventable, and it's preventable through lifestyle intervention. We know that there's a lot that we can do to prevent disease, to prevent declines in physical function and mental function. And we're simply not doing enough to educate people and motivate people to maintain their health span. We're being too reactionary and taking care of disease after the fact rather than preventing disease. And what do I mean by lifestyle intervention? I mean the usual suspects. I mean good nutrition, physical activity, sleep, and mental wellness. And all of these things go hand in hand. Good nutrition is a critical cornerstone to good health. When we eat better, we feel better, we have more energy to exercise. When we exercise more, we sleep better. When we get better quality sleep, we feel better mentally, we have better mood, better energy. And when we feel better, we make better decisions about the types of food that we put into our body and so forth. It's this wonderful feed forward, virtuous cycle, if you will. Now, the nutritional lifelines of Juice Plus are a wonderful, easy way to get 45 superfoods into your body every day. Now, I first heard about this a little over a year ago. And when I first found out about Juice Plus, I thought, oh, this makes sense. It looks like a wonderful potential for helping people to age healthier. But of course, being the geeky scientist that I am, I had to dig into the science and make sure that this product was something that had the same benefits of getting good nutrition into our body every day. And I was happy when I discovered that there were nearly 40 scientific articles published in using rigorous scientific methodology done by reputable scientists and published in peer-reviewed medical journals. And by peer review, I mean it reviewed by independent scientists that weren't involved in the studies, that reviewed the studies and saw that they were worthy of publication. And so this company doesn't simply rely on testimonials from happy customers. We've got a lot of happy customers out there. It's been around for 25 years. There's a lot of happy customers, but they have invested in research that demonstrates that Juice Plus has many, many wonderful health benefits compared to placebo. And many of those benefits that we've seen in those nearly 40 scientific publications aren't things that I care about as a geroscientist, things that I consider biomarkers of aging. We know, for example, that Juice Plus has benefits on vascular function, on immune function. It has wonderful effects on lowering oxidative stress, reducing inflammation, improving DNA repair. It has beneficial effects on our gum disease and skin, and many, many things that I care about as a geroscientist. And it's definitely something that's a part of healthier aging. But I have to tell you that I wasn't all that surprised from the research, because we already know that a whole food plant-based diet has all of these wonderful effects on all of these things: the inflammation, the oxidative stress, the DNA repair. And this is whole fruits and vegetables in capsule or gummy form. We know that you can't get that from a vitamin. You can't replicate that from a vitamin. Our bodies need all of the thousands upon thousands of phytonutrients that are found in this apple, for example. You can't read this list, but there's lots and lots of phytonutrients, and our bodies know how to use that in the best combination and in synergistic way that it needs. And it's the nutrition of that apple does not boil down to just the vitamin C and magnesium that you can get out of that apple. Vitamin supplements just are not sufficient. We need whole fruits and vegetables. And Juice Plus, the company, simply figured out a way to get fruits and vegetables and berries into powdered and gummy form 25 years ago. They've been doing this. They've gotten rid of the water and the salt and the sugar, and all that we're left with is all these wonderful enzymes and phytonutrients that are packed into these capsules and gummies. It's just a very easy way to get this nutrition. Now, you might be wondering why all the fruits and vegetables are so beneficial to health. Why would Juice Plus have all of these wonderful benefits on inflammation, oxidative stress? Well, one of the major ways that this works is that flooding our body with all these fruits and vegetables and berries impacts our gut microbiome. Our gut is an important place where it just interacts, it communicates with so much of our physiology. I can't even, it affects our immune function, our metabolic function, our endocrine function. The trillions of bacteria in our gut are in constant communication with our inflammatory response, our hormones. And if you think of your gut as like fertile soil on a well-tended farm, we need to nourish that soil if we want it to keep producing. Now, we can survive on just about any diet, but our bodies won't thrive. And our gut is just this wonderful interface for communicating with so many of our physiologic systems. Our gut also communicates directly with our brain through the vagus nerve. And so taking care of our gut is critically important for our brain. And one of the problems is when we don't get good nutrition into our body and we have an inflamed gut, it's called gut dysbiosis. That inflammation in the gut leads to inflammation throughout the body, including the brain. And when we have inflammation in the brain, that contributes to plaque buildup in the brain, degeneration of our neurons, and eventually cognitive decline. But long before we experience any kind of memory loss, we generally will feel it as effects on our mood and our energy. So it's absolutely critical for our mental health to maintain good gut health. Now, our nutrition also impacts our brain indirectly through its effect on our sleep and our circadian clocks. Another thing that we've learned a lot in recent years is how important cellular clocks are. So we used to think our diurnal rhythms were completely regulated by the brain, but we now know that there are clock genes in cells throughout our body, and they're turned on and off by the foods we eat and feeding and fasting. And so good nutrition impacts our brain health through its effects on our cellular clocks. When those cellular clocks are functioning better, we have better quality sleep. When we have better quality sleep, we have better mood and energy and brain function. And so all of these things are absolutely critical for preserving not just physical function, but mental function as we age. Now, in addition to the fruit and vegetable and berry blends, there's this wonderful new product out by Juice Plus, the plant-based omega blends. You've probably heard of omega fatty acids. Fish oil has been all the rage in recent years because of the beneficial effects of omega-3 fatty acids. What I love about Juice Plus is that these are plant-based omegas, so a more sustainable source of omega fatty acids, and a better blend, not just an omega-3, but 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And all of those omega fatty acids are essential fatty acids that many cells in our bodies need for good function. Now, the research on Juice Plus Omega Blend is just being done right now, so we won't have those research studies for another few years. However, there's a huge body of scientific evidence for the beneficial effects of fish oil based omega fatty acids, and they benefit all of these things listed here. And I don't have time to go into all of these, but suffice to say is that omegas are absolutely critical for healthy aging. And I think we're going to see wonderful results of the studies that are currently ongoing for the Juice Plus Omega blends for healthy aging. Now, if you take nothing home tonight, but this one point, I hope that you get that eating a nutritious diet, flooding your body with fruits and vegetables and berries is absolutely critical to nourishing every cell in your body, every tissue in your body, every single physiologic system in your body. Unfortunately, I think too many of us worry about what we eat only with regards to how it affects our body weight. And if I really want people to stop worrying about nutrition as only a means to lose weight, only worrying about weight, because we have got to nourish our bodies. And weight loss is actually counterproductive to good health as we get older, because we are constantly losing muscle and bone across aging. And when we lose weight, 30% of that weight loss is muscle and bone, and we cannot afford to lose any muscle and bone as we get older. Now, naturally, as I mentioned, we're losing muscle and bone, and if we're not getting good nutrition, what happens is that bone becomes more porous. As you'll see here on the left, the matrix becomes more brittle and more prone to breaking. Our muscles become marbled with fat. Those fibers become thinner and weaker. And so getting good nutrition into our body is all about preserving the quality of our muscle and bone as we get older. But it's also important to think about how we're growing that muscle and bone when we're younger. Because if you remember, back in my 20s, I was already osteoporotic. I already had the bone density like you see here on the left, this very porous, brittle bone. And so it's absolutely critical to think about good nutrition, not just for maintaining muscle and bone as we get older, but also building it when we're younger and our kids are developing. And then that's where the Juice Plus complete shakes and the bars come in. These are a wonderful product, a wonderful blend of plant-based proteins and carbohydrate and fiber that are an easy way for us to get a good balance of nutrients into our body every day. And as we get older, we actually need twice as much protein for the same amount of protein turnover in response to exercise. So we need to be getting enough protein and good plant-based carbohydrates into our diet every day to grow those muscles when we're younger, but then to preserve them when we're older. And in fact, I love the complete so much. I give it to my kids every day after school. I think it's great for their academic performance and their athletic performance. They're both highly competitive soccer players. I use it myself during races and for recovery after races in my ultra distance running. I absolutely love the complete shakes and the complete bars, because they're just a real easy way for us to get more protein in our diet throughout the day. And we need it. It needs to be spread throughout the day. We can't simply eat protein in one meal a day. So for example, dinner, we've got to be getting it throughout the day to stimulate the protein turnover that we need to maintain our muscle and bone as we get older. So as a geroscientist, I love that the nutritional products from Juice Plus check all of the boxes for me. Flooding our bodies with all this good nutrition is so wonderful for many of our physiologic systems and for helping us to slow and prevent many chronic diseases, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, many of the things that we worry about as we get older. It also is great for our mental function through its effect on our gut and our sleep, as I talked about. It's also the complete shakes and bars are also great for helping us to maintain our muscle and bone as we get older, and that's important for maintaining our strength and our activity and ultimately our independence. And I also think it's critically important for helping us to preserve our nest egg. Why? Because when we stay healthier, when we prevent disease, we can stop sending all of our hard-earned retirement savings to big pharma and major medical companies. I think it's absolutely critical that we spend more time thinking about disease prevention and preventing physical and physical functional decline and mental decline with aging if we're to enjoy a long health span and wealth span. And I know some of you who are on here tonight might be thinking that you're too young to worry about this. This is something that I don't need to think about for many years, but I would hope that you would understand that it's never too early to start thinking about your health span. Small deposits today make big impacts long term, just like good financial planning, retirement planning. Your health span goes hand in hand with your wealth span. And so the better you take care of your health, the better quality of life that you're going to live, and you're going to ultimately maintain physical and mental function for much longer. So I hope that I know I'm just barely touching on the many benefits of Juice Plus for healthy aging. I'm just getting at, just the tip of the iceberg, because there's just, our bodies are just craving that kind of nourishment. But if you're ready to get started, if you're new to this and just thinking about this, I highly encourage you to talk to the person who invited you to the Zoom today and get started on the capsules or the gummies right away. That's just such an important part of of jump-starting good nutrition. If you want further support with exercise or sleep or other aspects of your health, reach out to me at either my Facebook or Instagram. I would love to provide more information about how you can do those things. And if you're already taking care of your health span and want to motivate others to do the same, join the healthy living revolution. We need more troops on the ground. We need more people spreading the word. We've got a tribe of like-minded individuals who are helping people all over the world to take healthy back. And we just need more people to get the word out about healthy aging, what we can do to slow the progression of disease, to keep ourselves physically and mentally functioning for as long as possible. High quality of life, maximal health span. We can age more gracefully, vibrantly, interconnectedly. I feel blessed to have found this tribe, and am honored to be here to tell you why I think that Juice Plus is such a critically important part of helping people to age healthier for longer. And with that, Sally, I'll turn it back over to you. I'm not hearing Sally. Sorry, just a minute.
Sally, you need to unmute.
I think you're still muted, Sally. Sorry.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So anyways, thank you, Rachel. So grateful to hear this information. And as Rachel said, we hope that you benefited tonight. And there's several ways that you can join our Healthy Living Revolution. Maybe you want to just take some of this information and apply it to your own health journey, like deciding to eat more fruits and vegetables, move more, sleep more, etc. That's fantastic. And as Rachel said, adding the power of these plant powders to our bodies, to our children, our grandchildren. In fact, we have a children's health study where you can sponsor a child or a grandchild or a niece or nephew, and also help them get the Juice Plus into their bodies. And also you may be, as you're listening tonight, thinking of some people that you care about, that you think, wow, they could really benefit from hearing this important information. Well, one thing is we'll be doing more of these events. And if you feel a tug to share this with people that you care about, we invite you to join us. Just get back with the person who invited you to learn more about any aspects that you've been hearing about tonight. We're so happy to help in any way possible. So thank you so much for spending this time with us, and good night.